lost to ignorance and confusion, 3 men arose from humble beginnings with a message of wisdom and hope for their troubled times. 3 men who would eventually change the very face of humanity. But they were run over by a bus driven by a somewhat grouchy Keanu Reeves. So, here are some other guys.
It's Song Talk Radio with Bruce, Neil, and Phil.
Welcome to Song Talk Radio with Bruce, Neil, and Phil, episode 250.
It's the show that's better the second time around.
Yeah. Theoretically. This is the show with songwriters talking to other songwriters about the craft of songwriting. We share tips, tools, and techniques, and together we all become better at writing songs. I'm your host, Neil Modi, and joining me tonight are the Yuletide members of the Song Talk Radio Action Team.
Here we go.
We got Boxing Day Bruce.
Hey, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
I got the boxing gloves on. I'm ready to go.
Alrighty. We got Festivus Phil.
Thank you. I'm having a bit of a deja vu.
Oh, no.
All over again.
Yes.
We've heard this before. We have Lords of Leap and Linda.
Oh, yeah. 12 Days of Christmas.
12 Days of Christmas.
I'm there for all 12.
That's right. And helping us out today, we have Holly Heather. Hi, Heather. Say a little hello. And working the tech board tonight, we got Menorah Michael.
And I gave myself my own microphone tonight.
Ooh, right. That's very good.
Mike's got a mic.
It's Christmas.
Oh,
it's a double mic.
Okay.
So during the show, send in your comments, questions, and your show ideas to @SongTalkRadio on Twitter or Facebook, or feedback@songtalk.ca for the email, and we'll share them with the audience in real time.
However,
and what?
Although today,
yes,
you can't because this will be a pre-record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can't give them.
So we'll
in real
share
time.
them in after time.
We'll show them
Later.
next time.
Show them later
in the
time.
new year.
So if you're listening to this,
on podcast.
We'll
Yes.
definitely
Good for you.
share them if you want to tweet in.
We will share. We're all about sharing.
I'm confused.
Okay, if you're confused, then please stop by the website, songtalk.ca. Find out how you can
That's
be a
right.
guest on the show.
It's all explained
That'll
there.
clear it right up.
Okay.
Tonight, it's our Holiday Songs Draft Show.
Ding,
Woo.
ding,
And it's a
ding,
very
ding, ding.
special show because this is actually a repeat show because we actually recorded this. So this actually isn't now. This is then.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought it was before.
No, before it was before, but
Oh,
now
don't try to explain
it's going to be
Phil.
then.
No.
It's going to turn into a
See, this
Spaceballs
is a
episode.
pre-record.
Don't talk about it.
So this is a pre-record that we're doing on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So we're doing this before Christmas,
Right.
and we actually did the show a week before this, but we had a technical snafu,
Right.
and it was an amazing show. Elton John stopped by.
Oh, it was incredible.
You know, Sting called us up. It was an amazing show,
should
but
have
we
been
lost
there.
it unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we had to redo it, and it's going to be
It
even
was
better
a
this time.
bloody
I
good
think.
thing that wasn't live.
That's true. That's true.
The one time we don't go live,
I know.
we have a technical snap.
Sorry about that,
Go
Elton.
figure.
Yeah, it's a gremlin.
So the way this draft show works is that each player in the group here has brought together 5 to 10 song selections. Player 1 calls out a song, they get a point. If player 2 or 3 or 4 or has the same artist or song on that list, they lose a point, and player 1 gets a bonus point. So you suck the point from the other player if you've got their song before they did.
Vicious.
And if one of the other songs that's been called, so the points just transfer over. We're hoping to get through 4 or 5 rounds. And the order of the players, Mr. Phil Emery.
All right, by the kind folks at random.org, the list is Neil,
Yay!
Bruce,
Yay.
Phil, and Linda. I don't know why I said Phil, but I did.
How do you feel about it?
I felt confused. And Linda is
Linda's
last.
last. Alrighty.
Last, like Lord's
Last
Leaping.
Linda.
Yes, that's right.
So once again, the criteria for our draft show tonight was any song holiday related.
That's right.
That's right. So
Ideally,
wide
it should
open.
be a show like, hopefully this is a song that you need to hear every year.
Yeah, I just chose favorite holiday songs.
Yeah, that's pretty much
And
it.
I tried to go for a couple that are deeply depressing, because I think the other side of the holidays needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah,
Yes.
A
absolutely.
lot of people, I have heard, somebody said to me the other day, I don't know, when I go home to my Christmas with my family, like, it's really disturbing sometimes. Everybody's angry with each other. They don't talk to each other. Am I different? I said, no, you're like everybody,
You're like
actually.
everybody, yeah.
There's only one family that's like, on television where they all really love each other and get along.
Actually, that was my Christmas song that I wrote last year, was lambasting the kind of, overly saccharine, happy stuff.
Oh, the fake stuff.
The fake stuff, yeah. The fake
Well, I
snow.
tried to bring songs that were as eclectic as possible.
Oh,
that
cool.
You don't hear all the time around Christmas time, and I like them a lot. And they run from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Good.
Awesome.
Cool.
So it's a
Sounds
variety
fun.
show, you might say, tonight.
Okay, so we're going to get rolling here. So my first pick is actually from a holiday movie, one of my very favorite holiday movies, Die Hard.
Oh, right.
And at the beginning of Die Hard, of course, Bruce Willis, who plays the police officer, he's being driven in a limousine to his estranged wife's holiday party, and he's in the limo with this young African American limo driver, and he says to him, "Let me put on some tunes." He said, "Sure." So he turns on the radio, and out comes this hip hop rap song,
Right.
and Bruce Willis' character, he's like, "Don't you have any holiday music?" And the guy's like, "This is holiday music."
Because it's...
Well, just like the movie Die Hard, it is a holiday movie.
Yeah. Well, that's up for debate, but
But the song is...
the song is by Run DMC.
There you go.
And the song is called Christmas in Hollis.
On Hollis Ave at the dark, when I seen a man chilling with his dog at the park, I approached him very slowly with my heart full of fear. Looked at his dog, oh my God, a ill reindeer. But then I was ill, cause the man had a beard and a bag full of goodies, 12 o'clock at near. So I turned my head a second and the man was gone. But he must have dropped his wallet smack dead on the lawn. I picked the wallet up and then I took a pause, took out the lights and then it cold said Santa Claus. $1 million in it cold, hundreds of G's. Enough to buy a boat, magic car with ease. But I never steal for Santa, cause that ain't right. So I was going home to mail it back to him that night. But when I got home I bugged, cause under the tree was a letter from Santa and the door was for me.
Okay, so that was Christmas in
Yeah, I
Hollis
got
by
that
Run DMC.
one.
And Phil had that one,
Yeah.
which means I get 2 points and
Get
Phil's
2
at
points.
-1.
And it's great. The main sample from that song is actually from a track called Backdoor Santa.
Yes, by Clarence Carter.
Yes. And it was interesting because Heather and I were talking about how we really love hip hop from this time period because they were using lots of really interesting samples. It was really groovy. There was lots of, and I find a lot of the modern hip hop doesn't quite have that same kind of grooviness, you know?
Yeah, because they're not sampling from the really old funk records and stuff.
Yeah,
Really
it's
cool
kind of
stuff.
a bit more jerky now, and I sort of lost that.
Yeah.
I really love it. It's a great tune, though. It's great for
Okay.
parties.
All right. So who's up next? Bruce.
I think it's me. Yeah, I chose. This goes back to 1971 for me. A little context. In 1971, I know I don't look this old, but I was like 20, and music to me, the singer-songwriter movement was at its apex. We had what's his name? Oh, this is going to be great because I can't remember anybody. Oh, that's wonderful.
That's why you're 20 in the 70s.
we had Carole King with Tapestry, and we had Neil Young with Harvest, and we had this Canadian songwriter. I went Canadian as well because she's one of my favorite people in Canadian songwriting history. That would be Joni Mitchell. And the song, although it doesn't mention Christmas in it, it's a very unusual song. It's called River. But
yes.
she is longing to escape the emotional bonds of a romantic relationship. But the song is set near Christmas, and it's become a standard for a lot of people. And it is the second most widely recorded song in Mitchell's oeuvre. There were 432 covers of it.
Wow.
And it appears on Christmas albums of many, many artists. It was covered by Barry Manilow, even.
What's great, too, is the
Yeah.
intro it quotes a very famous Christmas song.
The Jingle Bells.
Yeah,
Jingle
Bells.
Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
So let's have a listen. This is Joni Mitchell from her 1971 album Blue, and it's called River.
the trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry.
Yeah, well, that was River by Joni Mitchell, one of my favorite tunes. A really artful use of a sample of another song right off the top, speaking of sampling. 1971. A little bit of gossip. It's thought that the relationship she's getting over was she went out with Graham Nash, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, for 2 years, 1968 to 1970. So maybe remembering that, but also that she had moved to California, and you know, there's that you know, that song "White Christmas" is about that. It's you know, it's December 24th in Beverly Hills, L.A., and I'm missing the snow. And then people come and live here, and they really don't miss it anymore. They don't. Yes, they miss the palm trees now. Yeah. So that was that's my contribution.
Right.
What would you feel?
All right, Phil.
Right. So mine is it's called "Baby It's Cold Outside." It's a bit of a survey.
Commercial.
Yes.
Now
Now,
jump right in. Are you?
Apparently, CBC put it back on their playlist now.
Yes.
I saw the news today.
Okay, so during the 1940s, Hollywood celebrities attended parties, and they were all expected to perform. So in 1944, this was written by Frank Loesser, of course, who wrote Guys and Dolls. He also wrote Inchworm, Heart and Soul. He's an amazing songwriter. One of my favorite songs is, I forget the name, it's from Guys and Dolls. It's one about... it's the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere, and it says that if the weather is clear. And it's like this round. He's an amazing songwriter, just classically trained. But in 1944, he wrote this song, Baby's Cold Outside, to sing with his wife, Lynn Garland, at their housewarming party in New York City at a hotel. They sang the song to indicate to the guests that it's time to leave. She has written that after the first performance, we became instant parlor room stars. We got invited to all the best parties for years on the basis of this song. It was our ticket to caviar and truffles. Parties were built around our being the closing act. In 1948, after years of performing the song, Loesser sold it to MGM for the 1949 romantic comedy of Neptune's Daughter. So, so this was written for him and his wife to sing. So I think it's pretty innocent. But so I know there's like some controversy about it. But I think it's important for songwriters to be able to listen to a song in context and to be a little bit smarter than the average person.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important. And also what's perfect is if you listen to how perfectly constructed this song is in terms of the format of a call and response melody line.
It's brilliant.
So da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And each note and each phrase is very carefully constructed, just like Bach would do in one of his fugues. And one of my big complaints is when people try to reinterpret this song and put their own spin on it because they totally kill the delicate balance between those lines. So this is a very straight reading of this, of Baby It's Cold Outside.
I really can't
But
stay.
baby, it's cold outside.
Got to go
But
away.
baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
Been hoping that you'd drop in.
very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like
My
ice.
mother will start to
Beautiful, what's your
worry. Father
hurry?
will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd better
Beautiful, please don't
Well, maybe
hurry.
just a half a drink
Put
more.
some records on while I pour.
neighbors might
But baby, it's bad out there.
Say what's in this
No
drink?
cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
Your
how
eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I
swell.
ought to say no, no.
Mind if I move in
At least I'm
closer?
gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my pride?
Really can't
Oh,
stay.
baby, don't hold out. Baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, It's Cold Outside. That was, of course, Dean Martin off of, I think, one of the Christmas lounge. There's a bunch of lounge music was very hip in the 90s, and this was off of one of those. What are they called? Urban Lounge CD.
So are we all in agreement here that this whole controversy is kind of blown out of proportion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you consider the amount of
yes.
explicit music on
Well,
Spotify
yeah.
and everything, right? Everything is
And
way over the-
misogynistic. beyond
way
that,
over
I mean.
the top. And this was from a different era, right? And
And it was written, like, you have to keep the context.
The
it was
context
written.
in mind, yeah.
And Heather, you were mentioning that this happened in the 90s, I think. There was, like, this controversy, and it came up, and then, so.
yeah. She's not going to comment about that. No.
She's nodding her head. Okay.
So anyways, that's mine, which I think is an amazing
great,
song.
great pick.
Yeah.
And actually, if you want to really learn how to write a great song, listen to the song, pick it apart, like really slowly, like figure out the melodies and how they fit together. Just a beautifully
For
constructed
our listeners
piece.
at home, is that called counterpoint when you do that? Or is
No.
counterpoint when they're both singing at the same time?
This is call and response. So da 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 da.
But they do
there's a-
I
overlap
have a
bit.
song that is counterpoint.
Yay!
Oh.
And I'll bring it up right now.
All right. Go for it, Linda.
Good segue.
And it's a counterpoint in so many ways, but it actually is performed counterpoint. The song is Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth with Bing Crosby and David Bowie. And I like it a lot, and we sing it every Christmas, and we know the counterpoint and the harmony and the melody and the words of my family and I. But I like it a lot because it's a crossover of eras. It's a crossover of genres and styles. And apparently, Bowie was invited to do this with Bing Crosby, and he at first was reluctant to do it, but he was trying to put a kickstart into his career at that point, and this was in 1977. And when he heard that it was Little Drummer Boy, he said, "Oh, do we have to do that song? It's so old." And then he went along with it, and then he was told that there was this other song that was written for them to sing it together, "Peace on Earth," and it was written by Ian Fraser, Larry Grossman, and Alan Cohen. And so they went ahead and did it, and it ended up being one of the best-selling pieces of his career, David Bowie's career. And sadly, Bing Crosby died 5 weeks after recording the video and audio part of it with David Bowie.
Oh, wow.
So they mashed two songs together, is that what happened?
They do. They
Yeah,
mashed two
okay.
songs together,
It's a mashup.
and they recorded this after reportedly of 1 hour of rehearsal. And if you
Wow.
listen to the harmonies that David Bowie's doing at the very start of the song, they're delicate and perfect and beautiful, and it's quite amazing. And also Bing Crosby was reported to have said that young guy is pretty good in there. He's pretty good in the studio.
Well, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen.
So here we have,
Or Elvis thing.
yeah, Little Drummer Boy mashed up with Peace on Earth.
They told me, ba-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, ba-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, ba-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Peace on earth, can it be? Years from now, perhaps we'll see the day of glory. See the day of live in peace, so peace on earth when we come. Every child must be made aware soon. He'll see the day of glory. I've seen the day when men of goodwill live in peace again, and peace on earth. Can it be? Can it be?
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's and
Beautiful
David,
choice.
David Bowie apparently is renowned for doing most of his vocals in one take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an amazing guy. Yeah, it's a great piece of music.
Yeah,
I always kind of wondered where the second, because this was actually, Little Drummer Boy has always been my least favorite of all the Christmas carols, but I loved the Peace on Earth, which I didn't know it was written for them. I wasn't sure I didn't know if that was the original song or what it was.
Have those two songs been counterpointed together on other occasions, or is
No,
this kind of...
the Peace on Earth part was written specifically for this to be done with Bing Crosby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was written for this
Was it for a TV
video.
show?
It was a TV special.
Yeah, TV special.
Yeah.
See, okay,
I have
okay.
a question about this, though, because in the preamble, David Bowie talks about his son getting excited for Christmas, and I wasn't aware that David Bowie had children. Does he have a son?
Zoe Bowie.
Zoe Bowie?
Zoe Bowie, and that's okay, that is a son. Okay, well, there you go.
He now goes by Duncan. He's a famous movie director.
Really?
Really?
Oh, wow.
That's true. He did.
Not famous in this room.
Source Code, and he just did a flop called Warcraft.
Oh, jeez. Based on a video game?
But a great movie called Moon, I recommend you see.
Moon.
Sam
Oh,
Rockwell.
that was a great flick. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. See, you learn something new,
Yeah.
even stuff about movies.
Keep listening.
Never know the connections we make.
Yeah.
All right, should we
Neil.
move on to round two?
Yes.
Okay, so my next pick is a piece from the Charlie Brown Christmas TV special
All right.
from 1965, and
I've got that one, too.
you got this one too. And of course, the composer for that TV special was Vince Guaraldi,
Yeah, one and only.
the one and only famous jazz musician. And this one is actually the one where the children are singing. In addition to
Christmas
Vince's,
Time is Here?
in addition to Vince's thing. So yeah, this is Christmas Time is Here
That's a great
from
song.
Charlie Brown Christmas. That was Christmas Time is Here by Vince Guaraldi, part of the Charlie Brown Christmas TV special.
If you look up in the dictionary the word sweet, there's that piece.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating about this one is it was actually commissioned by Coca-Cola. So there was initially all these commercials actually within the cartoon with kids drinking Coca-Cola, which of course was edited out.
Yeah, I don't remember those parts.
Yeah, you can actually find them online.
Really?
And it's pretty weird.
Cool.
But yeah, special commissioned and sponsored by the Coca-Cola Company, written over a period of several weeks and animated on a shoestring budget in only 6 months.
Wow.
And of course, the big thing was I had kids actually doing the voiceovers, which was, and the network hated it.
Yeah.
Because it was dark and it had like this weird sort of kind of jazz.
Yeah,
you know. And
very unusual, but it
was hip though.
But it's totally become a classic. I don't know if it was loved by the public immediately or whether
yeah.
Okay.
Well, things that are on the leading edge, like when you start in that era, right? They were trying to push into be modern. The 60s, right? Urban redevelopment and modern architecture and jazz became kind of cool then, right? In the 60s, along with rock music and everything. But I thought it was a really interesting choice. When you think about Disney having kind of classical Broadway sort of composers and stuff. To go with jazz for a cartoon was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, great. Definitely. Can't be Christmas without Charlie Brown.
So this next song is apparently, ASCAP said it was the most popular piece of Christmas music in the U.S. from 2009 to 2012. And hugely, hugely popular. And another one that doesn't mention Christmas in the original lyrics, although a couple of people who covered it added Christmas. But if there's anything that says winter, it's Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson. And the thing about my childhood is Leroy Anderson, we had his album. He was a composer and orchestra leader, I believe. And Sleigh Ride was composed in 1948. They finished the work in 1948 without lyrics. And the original 45 was released on red vinyl. There's an interesting thing there. And it became the orchestral version. Oh, this is interesting. It was recorded in 49 by Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops. So you got that big orchestra sound, and the sleigh bells are the big thing. And also the famous piece of the percussion, the tempo blocks and slapstick, clip, clop, clip, clop, and the whip, right? And so listen for that stuff. But this, to me, brings me right back to the 50s every time I hear it. This is called Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy yap, giddy yap, giddy yap, let's go. Let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderland of snow. Giddy yap, giddy yap, giddy yap, it's grand.
Yeah, and for those of you just joining us, you're listening to Song Talk Radio with Bruce, Neil, and Phil, streaming on songtalk.ca. And tonight you're listening in. It's the special holiday show, originally broadcast on Christmas Day. There we go. Don't forget, we love to hear from you, so tweet in your thoughts to us at Song Talk Radio or via email, and we will pick those up. And we'll share your thoughts on one of the shows in the future. And you can find links to all the products, books, web services we mentioned on the show right on our resources page. Is it resources or resource? I like resources. I think it's both. Page at songtalk.ca. Coming up on Song Talk Radio, January 1st, we have a theme show repeat. It's all about rhymes with Blair Packham. January 8th, it's Ashley Braga with original songs for children. That'll be a nice change. And January 15th, we'll be doing a movie review show. All three key hosts will have gone to see the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and we'll be checking in on the authenticity, the musical integrity, the cinematography, all that stuff, all the E's. And if you're in Toronto area, please join us at our next Songwriters Meetup on Sunday, January 27th from 1 to 4 at the Transact Club. It's free to join and it's free to attend. Stop by songtalk.ca for the link to the Songwriters Meetup. And over to you, Phil.
All right, so I got about... Kind of a quick little joke. What do you call a guitar player without a girlfriend? Homeless.
I thought that was the bass player.
Or the bass player.
Or the drummer.
Or the drummer. Or the singer.
Or the drummer, right.
Or the trumpet player.
The one about, I want to talk about Sleigh Bell because that's a great version of it with Ella, the immortal Ella
That was Ella Fitzgerald. I should have played the orchestra version.
But there's so many orchestral versions that, and they get played in like every, wintertime thing on like a small television show. Yeah. And it always brings me back to, it's Christmas time on the main street and Mary's going.
So have a listen to folks listening at home. go to your Spotify or whoever you get your music from and listen to the version with Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops 1949, and you'll get all those orchestral hits because Ella, I think it was something like Have a Jazzy Christmas or something. So it was a concept album to bring, again, there's jazz again, to bring jazz in the 60s to Christmas. So,
Okay, Phil, what's your second pick?
So mine is "Oh Holy Night" from Studio 60, and this is always one of my favorite Christmas tunes, and it's going to give you a little bit of a background on it. This was actually on the show Studio 60 with the guy with Matthew Perry from Friends. It's an amazing show. Didn't last very long, unfortunately. I'm not sure why. And this was actually written. It featured a group of New Orleans musicians led by Troy Trombone Shorty Andrews, and they played this beautiful version of "Oh Holy Night," and it was actually a way of generating some funds for a lot of the musicians who were made homeless by the floods in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
And this is just a beautiful version of this song, and it always chokes me up. And you can get it for free now on the web. But before, it's like you went to iTunes and you could get, and they would get the proceeds from this. So this is "Oh Holy Night" from Studio 60. "Oh Holy Night" by
lovely
Troy Shorty, Trombone Shorty.
But who wrote it?
"Oh Holy Night." I believe that's what's known as anonymous.
Oh,
traditional.
Oh, traditional. Yeah,
it's as an "Oh Holy Night." It's the Christmas Carol.
Well, I've got something even older, probably.
But I've got something very different from that. It's from the world of folk and country by a revered Nashville songwriter named John Prine.
Right.
Who writes lots of songs that are quite humorous. And, well, I chose this song. I love this song, and I must hear it every Christmas, and I cover this one as well. It's called "Christmas in Prison." And so it's not something we think of all that often at Christmas. And I think that it's just a beautifully written song because it's kind of childlike and it's kind of humorous and it's also quite poignant. And so I thought I'd like to share it with you guys. "Christmas in Prison" by John Prine.
It was Christmas in prison, and the food was real good. We had turkey and pistols carved out of wood. and I dream of her always, even when I don't dream. Her name's on my tongue and her blood's in my stream. Wait a while, eternity. Oh, Mother Nature's got nothing on me. Come to me, run to me, come to me now. We're rolling, my sweetheart, we're flowing, by God.
There's John Prine.
Look it up and listen to the next verse. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
he was quite an important person in the folk world in the 60s, right, of the singer-songwriter movement that started
Yes.
in the mid-60s with Bob Dylan and the gang. And he
I
was...
thought he was after
And
that.
Gus Van Sant,
Yeah.
it's like the Nashville songwriters behind the scenes, and both.
He's a director.
Gus Van Sant's a
Oh,
movie director.
wait a
Yeah, you're
minute,
talking
Towns
about
Van
Towns.
Sant. Oh yeah. Sorry, and then Steve Earle came out of that, like sort of out of like the next generation of
Yeah, he's sort of
songwriters.
more recent than Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. He's a great, definitely a great songwriter.
I think what it raised for me is how lonely it must be in prison at Christmas, right? It must be horrible. You don't think of people being in prison very much because it's kind of hidden away, right?
Yeah, of course.
But those
Yeah.
holidays must be very difficult for people
Yeah.
who are in
It's
there.
an interesting thing to
So
bring to
our
light.
best wishes go out to all those who have to live in incarceration.
Hopefully
this
they can still
Christmas
get
time.
podcasts.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe they get
Alright.
podcasts. Yeah.
Okay, for my next pick, I'm going to go way, way, way back to 1824.
Oh,
Mr. Ludwig van Beethoven
I've heard of him.
wrote a little piece called Ode to Joy.
You
And,
never said who Joy was, but anyways, go on.
What's that?
You never said who Joy was.
was his
but anyways.
girlfriend?
Yeah. Ode to Joy, which was part of his Symphony Number 9, and the version that I have brought today is actually a version sung by the Queen's College Ensemble Choir, and the lyrics are actually written a little bit later. The lyrics were actually written as a poem called the Hymn of Joy. Often called Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee by Henry Van Dyke in 1907. So almost 100 years later.
Was this written for Christmas? So it's a story of Christmas? Beethoven was commissioned, or?
Well, no, I think Symphony Number 9 was just a symphony.
But what's the Christmas connection in your choosing this song?
Well, the Christmas connection is that it is often a piece that's played during the holidays, and it is a very joyful melody,
Right,
and a
Christmas
joyful
concert.
a Christmas concert thing. I mean, for me personally, this was Christmas shows in concert band when I was in high school. We would always
You massacre this one.
Oh yeah, we would totally massacre this one. And
I remember high school band.
yeah.
And interesting, the fellow Henry Van Dyke who wrote a poem with the intention of setting his words to the melody of Ode to Joy. He wrote, the verses are very simple expressions of common Christian feelings and desires in the present time, hymns of today that may be sung together by people who know the thought of the age. Therefore, the hymn is of trust and joy and hope. So that was pretty much what he wanted. He set his words to the music of Beethoven.
Yeah.
And,
so one of you kids out there that have the words, sing along. Please feel free to sing along as we listen to this. What's it called?
It's called the Hymn of Joy or the Ode of Joy, depending on.
Ode to Joy.
Ode to Joy by Beethoven. The Hymn of Joy is the poem.
Yeah,
Right.
Put them together. Queen's College Ensemble
This guy
Choir.
is going to go somewhere.
The Hymn of Joy, a.k.a. Ode of Joy, Ludwig van Beethoven and Henry van Dyke with the poem.
Yeah,
Well, that's a famous one.
can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You can't beat Beethoven. So in that vein, we're going to go way back to, it's a Christmas carol. So we're actually doing a Christmas carol now. I thought we should throw one of those in.
Sure.
It's been attributed to John Francis Wade in the 1700s, John Redding in the 1600s, and King John IV of Portugal in the 1600s, with the earliest manuscript of the hymn bearing his name located in the library of the Ducal Palace of Villa Vicosa. Well, who knows, but it's called Adeste Fideles, also known as O Come All Ye Faithful. So the original Latin is Adeste Fideles, O Come All Ye Faithful. And there are 4 verses and was extended to 8 verses and translated into many languages. The English translation was by the English Catholic priest Frederick Oakley in 1841, and it's the one that most English-speaking countries use. And and this it's from an original so it's religious, it's a carol and it's a Christmas carol, and but they're not sure where it came from. But if you were at and I was just a couple of weeks ago at a sing-along service at a church. This is a very popular one.
Of course.
I've chosen one that's a little bit surprising because it's an instrumental version by Bruce Cockburn.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
There's a little short guitar piece that Bruce Cockburn put on his Christmas album quite a few years ago. I think it was in the 80s. Don't quote me on that. But a lot of people may know Bruce Cockburn as a songwriter and quite when we say politically driven. A lot of songs are politically driven. Has a band and many, many recordings. He's from Toronto and he's been here recording since the 60s. What many people don't know is that he is a consummate guitar player, Berkeley trained, Berkeley School of Music. And so if you kids out there want to listen to some great guitar playing.
He's got an album called Speechless, which is strictly instrumental acoustic guitar stuff.
Great title. Yeah, it's called
Beautiful.
Speechless. So have a listen to Bruce Cockburn on the guitar when you get a chance. Phil, over to you.
All right, so I guess will this be our last round?
We'll keep going.
We can get one more round.
I'm curious about how the points are going.
Oh,
this is actually a contest show,
okay.
right?
Heather, here we go.
Well, again, the most handsome person is in last place. That's Phil with 0 points. And then
you're biased.
I've got nothing.
You're biased.
Our bronze medalist at this point is Linda with 2.
Yes, 2.
Just on the heels of Bruce, who has 3, and Neil is kicking butt with 5.
It's fixed.
All right, so
there's 2 more to go for this round, though.
Yeah,
that's true.
We're not
finished
the
round.
Right.
But I don't think anyone will have mine. This is a song that I always have to listen to every Christmas. It's one of my favorites. And it's not what you might think it is. This one's called Christmas Island, and it was a song originally recorded by the Andrews Sisters with Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians in 1946. And it's been recorded by many others. Can't remember exactly who this person is, but it's really fun, and it's kind of not Christmassy at all, but it just makes me smile every Christmas. Of course, I can only hear it around Christmas because it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. So let's take a listen to Christmas Island.
Aloha, aloha, aloha.
How'd you like to spend Christmas on Christmas Island? How'd you like to spend a holiday away across the sea?
How'd you like to spend Christmas How'd you like to hang your stocking on a great big coconut tree?
How'd you like to stay up late like the islanders do?
Wait for Santa to sail in with your presents in a canoe.
If you ever spend Christmas on Christmas Island, you will never stray, for every day your Christmas dreams come true.
Christmas Island.
Break out the beachwear.
Yeah, no, it always makes me think of. I love this song. It's just so
great.
It's so silly, you know.
It's charming. It's really charming. And Christmas Island is part of Australia and Indian Ocean.
It's an Australian island territory in the Indian Ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
It must be close to Hawaii then.
Very
true.
It's around the corner. Same planet.
Yeah.
14,000 kilometers from there. No, not really. Anyway.
Good fun.
Cool.
Okay, Linda,
Well,
it's your next pick.
from that to something that I think is really gritty.
Good.
It's a song that I really, really like, and I don't know that much about. I didn't look up the discography about it really, but it's Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues.
I've got that.
That gets me some extra points.
You are losing so well tonight, Phil, and you're being graceful about it.
Accompanied by Christy McCall, McNichol. The late Christy McCall, yes. And, it starts out in the drunk tank, and then it goes into bars, and it goes into a relationship, and I hope you can play as much of it as to get it to the female part, because it's really important, because there's a big change in the way the feel of the song goes when she comes in singing. So
beautiful.
Let's listen to Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank, an old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old mountain dew. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas, I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true.
They got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold, but the windows right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome,
You were pretty queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they held out for more.
Sinatra was swinging, all the drunks they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night. The boys of the NYPD choir were singing, go away, babe. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day.
You're an old slut and junk lying there almost dead on a dripping night bed.
You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap lousy faggot. Happy Christmas, you're ours, I pray God it's our love.
The boys of the NYPD choir still singing, go away, babe. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. Could have been someone.
Well, so could anyone. You took my dreams from me.
I kept them with me, babe. I put them with my own. Can't make it all alone. I built my dreams around you. The boys of the NYPD chorus are singing Go Away Babe, and the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day.
The
Fairy
Pogues.
Tale of New York.
Irish band, and that was as I said. Well, there you go. It's an Irish song, 3/4, but Neil corrected me. It's probably 6/8.
Yeah, it depends where you put the emphasis.
Yes, but it's got that you can dance to it thing, and probably has a penny whistle in. Is that right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
6, 7, 2,
That's what I say. Since we put the emphasis.
Neil, you are correct.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah, this is definitely one of those songs that's played every Christmas. It's and a beautiful video too.
All the the video is beautiful, and you should watch it and listen to the story of the song.
Yeah,
you know, it's just wonderful.
Now, it's according to Shane McGowan, it's not like it's just different people. It's not like one through line, which I actually thought it was a through line, but it's just
sort of a montage.
People. Yeah, he was reading this author whose name I can't quite remember. And that sort of specialized in these stories of these people who were living on the rough side of town, and so he sort of was inspired by that. But
our Christmas wishes go out to anybody who's in the drunk tank, or
that's right.
You know, it's no joke that a lot of people at Christmas are having troubles and they have to get through, and that reminds me that it's important to honor the people all over the Western world who show up on Christmas Day to make turkey dinner for people who do not have the money to make one. In all of the churches and Salvation Armies,
yes,
and all over the Western world, you have a place. You know, people who just they can barely eat. They get to go somewhere where it's warm and have a dinner.
It is a good time.
A lot of families make that their tradition.
Yeah,
the whole family volunteers on Christmas Day rather than feeding themselves and going, "Look at all the presents I got." The parents say, "We're going to go and volunteer and make Christmas dinner for the poor." I think it's a great lesson.
Yeah.
You know?
But
I had an idea, Phil. I just want to jump for 1 minute.
Well,
what song didn't we bring?
Well, we're going to be doing that in a bit.
No,
Actually, hold on.
We have to wrap up.
No, we're going to, because we're going to do something special.
What's that?
We're going to be doing something special. If you are a podcast listener,
yes,
you can actually hear some other stuff that's going to happen after we're done on the air.
Okay.
So it's a
don't hang
premium for our podcast listeners, and if you're not listening to the podcast, you should, because it is just incredible. The stuff that happens after the show, it's amazing.
Special bonus ribbons for everybody.
It is.
Yeah. And you hear us having beer after.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. So go to songtalk.ca and find out real stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so
we're wrapping up
for those of you not listening on podcast, that is all the time we have tonight on Song Talk Radio. Bruce, Neil, and Phil, thank you for joining us for our Holiday Songs Draft Show. Send us your impressions via Twitter at Song Talk Radio, via email feedback@songtalk.ca, Facebook and YouTube at Song Talk Radio, or stop by the site songtalk.ca. Subscribe today to the Song Talk Radio podcast. In a few minutes, you'll find out why on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or at Stitcher.com. And don't forget to sign up for a free newsletter at songtalk.ca. You can find links to all the products, books, and other stuff we mentioned on Song Talk Radio on our resources page at songtalk.ca. If you're in the Toronto area, please join us at our next Songwriters Meetup. It's Sunday, January the 27th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Transact Club. It's free to join on meetup.com and free to attend the meetup. Stop by songtalk.ca for the link. Thanks to Heather Spratt today for her deft scorekeeping abilities. And thank you to Michael Proudfoot for deftly handling the tech board tonight and making us sound the best as festive as possible.
You're very welcome.
And
Christmas to everyone.
And most of all, we'd like to thank you, the home listener, even if you're not at home. You can follow me at neilmodi.com. You can follow Bruce.
BruceHarrett.com.
Mr. Phil.
At the Phil Emery on Twitter.
And Linda.
At lindalavender.com.
And please do not follow Michael. He's getting a kink in his neck from turning over his shoulder so much. And Heather, can we follow you, Heather?
No, just follow Phil.
Just follow Phil, you get to Heather. Okay, so stop by the website, songtalk.ca, browse past shows, find out how you can be a guest. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Everyone.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Good night, everyone.
Now we're back for our special podcast listeners. We're going to continue with our draft show game
because it's so much fun. So let's get a review of the
what's the current
scores
score,
which have
Heather?
changed.
Okay, Handsome Phil is still in the back end with 0, but the rest are quite close. Bruce has 3, the lovely Linda has 4,
Ooh,
and Neil has 5.
5.
It's quite a
Neil's right on.
All right.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay.
Yeah. You should know that Heather actually lives with Phil, so she's biased. We're
So
actually
that's why Phil's losing?
Nothing.
Roommates.
No, but she's the handsome Phil. I mean, because actually,
Okay.
She's got
we're
a
all
crush
handsome.
on him.
Really, I think Michael's the most handsome actually of
Well,
everybody.
Handsome don't win the game there.
I know it's not working, is it?
Where has it got me? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So you get to start.
Okay, so our next round.
right?
I haven't done a rock song yet, so I got to do a rock
Right,
song.
yeah.
So this is the Bare Naked Ladies, and a number of years ago, before Stephen Page left them, they released a Bare Naked for the Holidays album where they did a bunch of classic songs, and of course they did the Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Laid an Egg kind of quirky things, and they also did a few original songs, and one of them is called The Elf's Lament, which is taken from the point of view of the standard worker elf and what kind of life they might be living, and so it might be sad to be an elf. So this is Elf's Lament by the Bare Naked Ladies.
I'm a man of reason, and they say 'tis the season to be jolly, but it's folly when you volley for position.
Never in existence has there been such a resistance to ideas meant to free us. If you could see us, then you'd listen. Toiling through the ages, making toys on garnished wages. There's no union, we're only through when we outdo the competition. I make toys, but I've got aspirations. Make some noise, use your imagination. Girls and boys, before you wish for what you wish for, there's a list for who's been naughty or nice, but consider the price to an elf.
A full indentured servitude can reflect on one's attitude.
Okay, that was Elf's Lament by Bare Naked Ladies from their album
Always fun.
Bare Naked for the Holidays.
Interesting how it took quite a while for you actually to get that it was about an elf.
Yeah,
which is
they do
interesting.
take their time with that.
Yeah, because I think sometimes for kind of more novelty stuff, is they hit the novelty really soon in the verse,
fairly
you know what it's
quickly, and maybe if you're listening to the album, you see Elf's Lament as the title, so you
Yeah.
kind of get the figure. But yeah, I did notice that as well. It's like 2 whole long verses before they really
That's
get
true.
to the fact. That
But kudos for not using just sleigh bells.
Yeah.
Which is what most people do for holiday music.
Or sleigh bell.
Well,
Or sleigh bell.
on that same album, they have a song called Snowman, which is Ed Robertson and acoustic guitar, and that's really it. And again, it's a song about being a
Yeah,
snowman.
that's actually a really good one. I
You
like
know,
that
and
one.
it's just it's a soft little gentle song, and there's no sleigh bells.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's those listeners who don't know. It's a Toronto band.
Yes. Yeah, from Scarborough.
And their claim to fame is they got banned from performing at City Hall because the word bare naked was in their name of their band, which is pretty funny when you think about what goes on now.
The mayor of the city
That's
at the
true.
time was offended that it was bare naked ladies.
That was before we had mayors who were had drug addiction.
But as I understand it from what I've heard from the guys in the band, the name came from the notion of the excitement of being a young boy and seeing your first bare naked lady.
Yeah.
Right. It was kind of that exuberance. And kind of just that's
the funny thing is it's bare naked. Like that one made it really bad.
Oh
yeah.
I remember it was a much innocent time, but you'd go like at year 7, you go bare naked.
Yeah.
You said naked. Giggling.
Oh yes. We say the word. Yes.
So another Canadian, we're staying with Canadian content tonight.
Cool.
Although the writers of this song, it was written and produced by Nasri, only one word, and Adam Messenger. And this guy has done pretty well. I thought we should have something for the kids.
Something for the kids, for the young people.
This is a guy who started out on YouTube, I guess, and busking in Stratford, Ontario, and went on to have this huge international career. We seem to something in the water here in Canada because we've got another gentleman named Drake who came out of Toronto. This fellow Justin Bieber came out of Stratford, which is just an hour and a half away. They became international superstars, and actually Drake was the highest, most hits on Spotify recently.
Apparently, yeah.
For the year. Anyway, Justin Bieber, a lot of you probably know that he did an album called Under the Mistletoe in 2011. Why not? He's got all these young girl fans, and what could be more dreamy than imagining your boyfriend, Justin Bieber, under the mistletoe waiting for you? So it's a sweet little song. So I just thought we should have something for the kids. Here it is. It's called Mistletoe.
Let's go. It's the most beautiful time of the year. Lights fill the streets, spreading so much cheer. I should be playing in the winter snow, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. I don't wanna miss out on the holiday, but I can't stop staring at your face. I should be playing in the winter snow, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. With you, shawty, with you, shawty, with you. Under the mistletoe, everyone's gathering around the fire, chestnuts roasting like a hot July. I should be chilling with my folks, I know, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. Word on the street, Santa's coming tonight. Reindeer's flying through the sky so high. I should be making a list, I know, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. Shawty with you, shawty with you, under the mistletoe.
Okay, that was Justin Bieber, of course, singing his sweet voice of 2011, Mistletoe, from the album Under the Mistletoe, which it didn't quite make the top 10 in the U.S. It was at 11, but it reached the top 40 in 9 other countries. And
you were saying that it sounded like something else.
Yeah.
Always a little familiar.
Jason Mraz wrote a song called I'm Yours. So if you have a listen to that, it's got the same reggae beat. It's not in the same key, but same kind of chord progression. And anyway, have a listen to it.
Some similarities in the melody, too.
Very similar. Now, I think probably the difference was when they went to the B section. I think Jason Mraz's song was different in the B section.
Right.
But I don't know what the rules are. I was just saying to the folks here that we will do a show in the future on songs that have gone to court because somebody said, hey, you stole that. And the most famous one was My Sweet Lord, which was lifted from
Shondells.
She's So Fine. And George said, I am sorry, we will pay up.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting. It sounds a lot like another song. I was listening to it going, I think I've heard this song before, so it's
I'm
very
Yours.
common. Yeah, it's a very common chord progression. But that's an interesting idea. So what's the other song that it sounds like?
It's called I'm Yours.
I'm Yours, Jason Mraz.
And it was written before this, obviously.
Yes, it was.
Just a few years, I think, yeah.
So my song is another one, got to hear it every year. It's by a band called The Waitresses. And they actually did there's this wacky little show called Square Pegs. And they did the theme for Square Pegs, which was really fun. which had the girl from Sex and the City.
Jessica Parker.
This was one of her first shows that she was in.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yes.
Didn't hear that.
And this one's called Christmas Wrapping. And it's interesting. It's called Christmas Wrapping, but I think most people call it Christmas by Myself this year.
Oh.
And when I was, at one time when I was just insanely busy, and the idea of having to go to family and dealing with everything else, and just the idea of having Christmas by myself was such a luxury. And so it always makes me think of this. This is a big hit on CFNY back in the day. And it's a great little tune, and she's got such an interesting vocal delivery too. It's always fun to listen to. Let's listen to Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses.
Those trees, raise up cups of Christmas cheer. I just need to catch my breath. Christmas by myself this year. Count the picture, frozen landscape, chill this room for 24 days. Evergreen, sparkling snow, get this winter over with. Flashback to springtime, saw him again. Would have been good to go for lunch. Couldn't agree.
That's the Waitresses. She also had another, their big hit was I Know What Boys Like, which is another great song. And she has a really unique approach to the lyrics, and it's a fun song. So Christmas Wrapping, I highly recommend it.
Fun group.
Yeah.
Linda.
Well, my next song is by Miles Davis, who was asked to write a Christmas album in 1962. And he had no problem composing the pieces. But for the lyrics, he hired Bob Dorough, who was a lyricist and a beat poet in the 60s. And Bob Dorough wrote the lyrics to the songs that he produced. And they produced an album. And this is kind of a humbug. Another humbug song. It's all about cynicism around Christmas. It's called Blue Xmas, and I call it Blue Xmas, it's called that. But sometimes you see it written out as Christmas, but I really think it should be say Xmas because it talks about the commercialism of Christmas and about depression and about people in the streets and hunger. And anyway. It's got Wayne Shorter playing tenor saxophone, and on congas, which is what it opens with, is Willie Bobo Correa, and I think it's a great anti-Christmas song. So play it away.
Merry Christmas. I hope you have a white one, but for me it's blue. Blue Christmas. That's the way you see it when you're feeling blue. Blue Xmas. When you're blue at Christmas time, you see right through all the waste, all the sham, all the haste, and plain old bad taste. Sidewalk Santa Clauses are much, much, much too thin. They're wearing fancy rented costumes, false beards, and big fat phony grins. And nearly everybody's standing around holding out their empty hand or tin cup. Gimme, 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 fill my stocking up, all the way up. It's a time when the greedy give a dime giving to the needy. Blue Christmas, all the paper tinsel and the fol-de-rol. Blue Xmas, people trading gifts that matter not at all. What I call fol-de-rol, bitter gauze.
That was Miles Davis. Oh, yeah. Doing some skiddly-wah. Yeah. Really hot happening jazz.
Blue.
Oh yeah, the real thing.
Man.
Blue
Totally.
Xmas.
Yeah.
See, aren't you glad you stayed for the podcast?
This is just some of the high-quality stuff
content
that you'll receive every week here on Song Talking.
Okay, so that wraps it up for 4 rounds. Was that 4 rounds? 5 rounds?
Yeah, 4.
4 rounds?
What's
okay,
the
so
final?
what's the final tally here, Heather?
Final tally in last place is Phil with 1. He's on the plus side.
On the plus side.
Oh,
One, okay.
how did you do that?
Bruce has 4.
Ah.
Linda has 5. And Neil has 6.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
Congratulations, Neil.
Next draft show, I'm coming to play, and I'm gonna win next time.
Play to
All
win.
right,
He's going to play to win.
Counting on that.
You get to buy the beer tonight.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okie dokie. Okay, so let's just go through our leftovers that we
What did you
didn't
bring?
play. So I also had up the overture from the Nutcracker Suite by
right,
Tchaikovsky. Great little holiday tune. And I also picked Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from the stop motion animated
Of
cartoon
course, that
from
is
way back
great.
when, because I remember that when I was a kid, sung by Sam the Snowman. And and that was it for my list. So Bruce, any leftovers?
Well, one thing I didn't bring, it was hilarious. I should have brought it, but anyway, next show. It was sung by Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy, and it was a Christmas song. I can't remember which song it was now, but it was hilarious. It was like a Walt Disney movie, I guess, set in Christmas.
Oh, okay.
But we can do a special show on kids' Christmas songs from the past. Maybe one
could.
day.
Yes.
And I was going to point out that nobody brought the Wham song, which was great. Nobody brought it. You know, the one that's played so much, and nobody brought John Lennon's song. I thought about it, but I didn't.
War is over?
Yeah.
War is over, yeah.
That's a great one.
Haunting song. But I think we had a good measure of really depressing Christmas songs, and I'm happy
true.
for that. I'm very happy
very
about
true.
that. To give balance, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
My a lot of mine were taken, but one that I didn't get to play is "Thanks for Christmas" by Three Blind Men. It's really XTC.
Oh,
the brilliant Andrew Partridge.
Partridge,
Just
yeah.
again, if you're a songwriter, listen to XTC. Fantastic songs from top to bottom.
Yes.
But they have "Thanks for Christmas," which is very XTC. I don't know why they called it something else.
This is the Australian band?
No, they're from
English.
Britain.
Oh.
Yeah. XTC. Swindon, yes.
Swindon?
And he's actually has terrible stage fright, so they don't play live.
Oh.
But just an amazing. Anything
Great
by
song.
XTC. I don't think they have a bad album. And the other one, which I didn't get to, is "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas."
I
which, of
love
course-
that song.
Yes, which is from Meet Me in St. Louis, and a movie in the 40s, which, interestingly enough, has very little to do with Christmas. It's actually that's just a little small part of the movie, and it's fun. I watched it on Netflix a little while ago, and it was...
They're
It was
planning that it'll be lonely next Christmas because somebody died? Or
No, that's
'cause
what
they're
I
not-
thought.
Oh, they're
no,
not
because
in
they're
New
actually just
York.
moving. They're moving from St. Louis to New York.
Right.
And the child is sad about leaving, and it's such a weird song because it's part of the depressing. They have this one beautiful line that I always loved, is "Until then we'll have to muddle through somehow," which I think is a beautiful line. But people have taken that out because they thought it was too depressing.
Hang a shining star above the
Oh,
highest
shining
bough
bough.
is what they changed
Which is
that to.
just the most
innocuous.
dull.
Yeah.
Like, why do this? And it's like, but yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's a fun sort of little, very much of its time, but it's well
Real
worth watching.
boosterism for St. Louis, I imagine, because it's not a city that it must have really put it on the map because it was a big Hollywood movie. It was quite a hit.
Yeah,
right?
it was based on a book, and I think the book was quite big at the time.
Oh,
so,
okay.
My favorite version of that song is by Chrissy Hind. She does a beautiful version of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I love to hear about that.
It's fabulous.
Oh, and then of course there's It Was Christmas Time by the Pretenders.
Yes.
Which I didn't get to. 2,000 Miles.
Oh, that's a great song.
Fantastic song.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's a cash cow. You know, when you're with a label, they actually kind of, I think, force you to, because it seems almost every artist at some point they go,
Yeah.
do the Christmas album.
That's-
Because it's perennial, right?
And that's why I have to give a big
Happens
shout
every
out.
year as well.
And that's why I have to have a
Go
big shout
figure.
out to have a Parkdale Hookers Christmas. Because
Oh,
that's,
yeah. That's a great one.
I know,
You
I
better
know-
explain that,
I know it's a
Phil.
little bit overplayed. Everyone
Yeah.
sings it around the home, but it's
Could you explain that to our listeners who
it's
don't
a-
know who the Parkdale Hookers are?
They're a fine band. You should look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
And have a Parkdale Hookers Christmas time. And even says, it talks about people of the Jewish faith too, which is nice, I think.
Yeah, they have a Jewish
good.
Christmas, which
Yeah.
is controversial, but interesting.
That's-
Why not?
No, it's about, they
Why
talk about
not?
a movie and some Chinese food. So
we're going to wrap up the podcast now.
But Linda, is that how about the ones you didn't get to?
I just had one other song on my USB there. It's called it's by Joseph Spence, and he's a Bahamian guitarist and a vocalist, and was quite famous for muttering and vocalizing as he played his guitar parts, and it's kind of like gibberish, but he does You Better Watch Out, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Okay.
But you can barely recognize the gibberish that's coming out of what he's playing. And the guitar is you can tell that it's like maybe the first time he's played it, but it's quite interesting to listen to and very funny.
Yeah. So we advise all our listeners to go out and find that and
Joseph Spence, you can see it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely link to that.
But one thing, I guess we need to sort of say is we just wish happy holidays to all our listeners out there.
Absolutely, yes.
And I hope, with your families and doing whatever you're doing for the holidays, and that we're not above accepting gifts here at Song Talk Radio. And the gift guide, anything on the gift guide would be fine for us, I think.
Absolutely, we would take it.
I think it's going to be a great Christmas season,
and enjoy the Christmas music that you're listening to or playing.
Yes. Yeah. And send us an email about what your favorite songs are that you need to listen to every Christmas.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys enjoy with that. You can put it on their Facebook page or on Twitter or email.
Yeah. Because I think that's all the time. Well,
okay, so that's it for the podcast. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.
And here's Jason Mraz singing I'm Yours.
Yes. And enjoy this premium podcast edition.
Enjoy the extra 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next
the new year, 2019.
We'll see you next year.
Ooh.
It's a joke,
Merry
'cause it won't
Christmas.
be next
Happy New Year
All right.
to you.
Good night, everyone.
Cheers.
Divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and damn, you're free. I look into your heart and you'll find love, 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 and love. Listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved, love, 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 loved. So I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Do you, but do you, but do you want to come on? I scooch on over closer, dear, and I will nibble your ear. Soon to boom, 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 boom. I've been spending spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer. But my breath fogged up the glass, and so I drew a new face and I laughed. I guess what I'll be saying is there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and damn, you're free. I look into your heart and you'll find that the sky is yours. So please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need here to complicate, 'cause our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours.